Haul your garbage to a hole in Northern Ontario for a generation to come. The count was 32-24 in favor of the billion-dollar Adams Mine dump contract after one of the rowdiest council sessions in Toronto's history.
Come on, Dave. What is going on here? This is a bloody sham. Mr. Chairman, you're a bloody sham as chairman. Read out the motion.
After a final opponent spoke to the issue, the voting began, only to be interrupted when an incinerator was rolled back into the deal despite the mayor's objections. City officials waited for things to calm down, and when that happened, they called in the police to clear the chamber.
Leave him alone!
Please, really? Please loosen up. It's hurting.
As the chair of council, I have a responsibility to make sure that the business of council can be discharged on behalf of the people of this city, and that's what I did.
We've been sitting in these sessions day after day, week after week. This issue has gone on for year after year. And then we were dragged from the council chambers. We were forcibly removed from the council chambers.
When the voting resumed in the afternoon, the evacuated were actually allowed back in the chamber.
These guys are dumping poison in our environment. At least be civilized.
After 4 days of debate, the deal to ship Toronto's garbage north was approved, with incineration still an option.
Am I pleased about this? The answer is no. It was something that we had a decision had to be made, and it had to be made very quickly.
Glassman said the deal protects the best interests of the taxpayers, and he had this to say about the forceful eviction of protesters.
When they came back, they were well behaved, weren't they? It worked, didn't it?
And so with the vote over, the deal is done, but there are still a few questions hanging over this council like a cloud. For instance, what about incineration? What happens if Rail Cycle North didn't sign off on the deal that's just been negotiated? And what will the federal government do with the land claim and the federal assessment? Those questions will have to be answered before any garbage heads north. From City Hall, I'm Adam Vaughn for City Pulse Tonight.
The 20-year deal will begin when the city's Keel Valley dump is closed in 2002, but another factor still in the mix tonight is fierce resistance to the garbage train by Northerners.
Shame on Toronto! Shame on Toronto!
The protesters who blocked the Ontario Northland Rail Line last week are threatening tonight to renew their blockade, and a Native leader warns of a confrontation worse than Oka.
It looks like we're going to be going all the way, and the garbage will never come home.
And what does all the way mean?
Carol, may I help you with this? I think you guys are awful to ask us how far we're willing to go. We want to ask you guys in Toronto. We want to ask Toronto Council, how far do they want to go? Do they want to use the army to move garbage onto native land and onto Northern Ontarians' land? How about it?
At Queen's Park tonight, New Democrats charge key politicians are in the pocket of the dump's developer.
Rail Cycle North owns Toronto City Council. Rail Cycle North owns Mayor Lassman. And it's pretty obvious that Rail Cycle North owns Premier Mike Harris and your government.
Tonight, the Chrétien Liberals are the only politicians who could derail the Orange Peel Express by ordering a federal environmental assessment that would automatically kill the contract. Want to know what side your councillor was on? Well, you can find the full list of yeas and nays tonight on our City Pulse website, pulse24.com. Just go to More Stories in the news section and click on how they voted. Combined city forces of firefighters from the old East York and Toronto ganged up on a